Welcome to the Lord Windgrace Estates. As far as our opening hand goes, we do have 4 lands, Field of the Dead, Damnation. Yes, we will keep on this one. We could ship it back if we wanted to be a little bit more aggressive. But since we are playing against Hapatra, and that's going to be a lot of little creatures, dudes and dudettes, and dude they them, on the battlefield, this Damnation is going to be a very nice option for us. So we'll keep on this one. And also, it's always nice to have Seer Sundial, kind of like a extra copy of Tireless Tracker, which is a very nice feeling. So opponent's going to lead off into the swamp. And then we'll go and lead off with probably, just Scalding Tarn. I think that'll be good. So we draw into Wayward Sawtooth. Okay, let's go for Scalding Tarn, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Lord Windgrace, the official manager of the Windgrace Estates. Hopefully you're going to leave us a good Airbnb review. We kind of do depend on that, and hopefully you don't get clawed. +2, discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw 2 cards, or draw an additional card. Then -3, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents. Then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. Also, if you're keeping score at home, if you look down at the bottom on Lord Windgrace, it can be your commander. So, as you can tell, it's in the command zone. Playing against Hapatra, Vizier poisons. Whenever Hapatra deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1 counter on target creature. Then, whenever you put 1 or more -1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with, oh my god, there's a snake in my boots, with that touch. So, we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to try out to be the cat security force, one of the cat tokens for Lord Windgrace, head on over to MTGOTraders. We're holding tryouts. You just really have to be able to kind of act like the cat movie that came out recently. That's kind of what we're looking for. And don't let us yield through the turn. Okay, good. All right, let's go ahead and crack Scalding Tarn. But yeah, check out MTGOTraders. Also, quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt. 2 things are going to happen when you go there. Let's grab I think at this point, a Stomping Ground's fine. Yeah, that'll work. 2 things are going to happen. You're going to be able to get a play mat and treat yourself, and then also treat the channel at the same time. So, much obliged if you do. And then there we go, Golgari Thug. So, I guess at this point, we just go Catacombs. Let's grab ourselves Bayou. Yeah, I was thinking we could crop rotate for Ancient Tomb for Wayward Tooth, but that's really going to get rid of our black or our red swords, which I'm not super wild about. So we'll just go and cast Golgari Thug. Actually, no, we're going to hold on to Golgari Thug, because the last thing we want is to go to the graveyard and then basically just go back on top of our library before we get the opportunity to dredge it. Because if it goes to the graveyard, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, that will put it on top. So don't really want to get into that shenanigans right now. At least we can get some sort of dredge option going. Then that would be a good plan. Also, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the end of the credits. Get your hand on some promotional tokens of the month, or D all of the above. Check out the Patreon link down below. And last but not least, be sure to, if you're looking in the market for some paper Magic cards, be sure to check out Common Ground Games TCG Player website. They're our local gaming store here in Dallas, and we actually just got hit with a shelter in place in Dallas. And so I know they're going to be hurting for some business. So if you're in the market for some paper cards, just use their site. It'll help them out. And if you have your own local gaming store, that's totally perfectly fine. But if you don't, that'll be one way that you can support a really good local gaming store. And it's a very nice store, and I'm very glad to have it here in our local area. So I'm making nothing off of that other than just hopefully we can keep as much business around for some of these stores, because it's going to get pretty rough for a little bit. So anyway, if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time. We can have some fun. So our opponent did end up going for Green Sun Zenith for Devoted Druid, which is going to be the -1 counter. So that's not the end of the world. We're still on course for Damnation. If we have to go for a black source of crop rotation or something, we can do that. But hopefully we draw into that, and then once we can kind of clean up what they deploy, we'll be in a pretty good spot. All right, so I'm going to be swinging it for 2. That's going to put us down to, does not have infect, down to 26, and that will be 2 total commander damage. And let's see if they put the -1 counter on Hapatra. You can also do that to get an extra snake on the battlefield. But in this deck, we're not really swinging wide, and if we are swinging wide, it's because we just have a ton of creature tokens on the battlefield. We're pretty much just trying to go for a Jund value lands matter deck with this particular one. So, all right, our opponent did end up putting a -1 counter on Hapatra, giving themselves a snake. Oh, there we go. Run into that next black source. So that's going to be Swamp. Let's have Swamp come down. Yeah, and then if we end up going Wayward Swordtooth, that's going to allow us to go for the Forest, which would be awesome too. One of the cool things we can do with Forest, if we want to crop rotate for Ancient Tomb to make sure that we can power out Lord Windgrace, we certainly can. But we'll kind of see what we want to do. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So now, as far as Lord Windgrace, have we made any new additions to the deck? Yeah, we have. I don't think I had Field of Dead in there from my previous play. One of the harder parts about having just a ton of commander decks is that honestly think about how many magic content releases in a year and then just multiply that out across so many decks. It's hard to make sure that everything gets maintained and updated properly. So but anyway, added Field of the Dead, which is a really nice addition to the deck. I also man, there's a new card from that we added. We added the Dryad, the goofy looking Dryad that turns all of our lands into all the different basic land types. That also does help us out because we are running the Valakut and Escape Shift Prismatic Omen package. And so that basically, that Dryad kind of smooths it out to a nice little 4-card package that you can win with. Because, with Valakut, it says, hey, as long as you have like 5 mountains on the battlefield whenever you play a mountain, you can deal 3 damage to any target. So let's say we've been ramping the whole game, we get down Lord Windgrace, we go for Escape Shift with about 8 lands on the battlefield. As long as we have either Prismatic Vista or Dryad on the battlefield, once we have all those lands enter the battlefield, I love playing against Hapatra because you have to run some of the jankiest removal spells, 5 mana, sorcery speed, proliferate. I love it. But yeah, long story short, you can almost one-hit somebody, especially if you have a lot of lands on the battlefield. So, all right, so it's gonna be Hapatra swinging in. We're just looking at a snake right now. Yeah, I really do think Damnation would work out. So we're gonna let them swing in. That's gonna put us down to 24. Really only 3 commander damage. If they want to recast Hapatra, they certainly can, but that's gonna be their entire turn next turn. So I think we'll put us in a pretty good spot. Oh, earlier. So I don't know how this video is gonna go, but I'm probably gonna end up posting it because we're about the 7-minute mark. Earlier I tried to record this morning, and my computer recently has been just kind of randomly turning off. And it was kind of frustrating. I was like, maybe it's like some sort of issue. Actually, I'll get into that here in a second. Field of the Dead's going to enter the battlefield tapped. Yeah, I think we just still end up going Damnation. I kind of like that. So let's go Damnation. And then we actually have 4 different land names on the battlefield. So once we end up going Field of the Dead, we'll be able to get that going pretty quick. So let's go and clear out some of these creatures. Okay, so we cleared the board out. Let's go for Field of the Dead, and then anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. But yeah, my computer's been randomly restarting, and it wasn't just doing it in a random fashion. It was whenever I was, doing something kind of power intensive, it would just kind of shut off randomly. So let's say that I'm recording a video and we're getting to about the 20-minute mark. That's a lot of, hardware that's being used. So it would just randomly shut off at like the 15-20-minute mark. And when you lose a file like that on OBS, which is the program I use to record with it, it kind of corrupts the data file. So you just lose that video. And so I played against Lord Windgrace and Verinia this morning. It was an awesome video, but unfortunately I lost that game file because my computer restarted. So it was not a lot of fun. All right, so we've got Lord Windgrace, and I guess at this point, yeah, let's just go and go for that. So let's go Lord Windgrace. We could go for Seer Sundial, but with Hapatra out there, I really like the option of being able to just really kind of start plussing up. Because once you get Lord Windgrace up with that +2, and it's already sitting at a 7, that is pretty rough to get back from sometimes, especially if you're just staring at Hapatra. So let's go for Lord Windgrace. We're going to go for the +2 ability. We're going to discard a card, then draw a card. I think what we're going to get rid of is Golgari Thug. I think that'll be pretty good because you just want to get a few more, and definitely don't want to dredge that one at this point right now. Run it to gamble. Okay, we'll take that. Then anything else we'll pass turn over there. But yeah, with my computer, so it randomly shut off. And so after that video, when I lost it, and basically we were 1 turn away from saying like, hey, good game to our opponent. They won. And then the video shut down, and then my computer shut down. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to spend the morning, because normally my recording schedule is I record for about 2 or 3 hours in the morning on Sunday. And so I was like, well, I don't want to keep recording these games and not getting a complete video. So I took the morning off, I took my computer apart, and my goodness, there was a lot of dust around my heatsink and around the CPU too, and there was a lot of dust along the kind of slotted side of the computer. There's kind of a lot of it. I'm running some Dell gaming laptop, so they kind of have this slotted computer frame on it. But basically, there's just a ton of dust in there, and I think that's what was causing it. Because whenever I was researching the random restarts, it's not like I was getting a Windows error code like you haven't installed this properly, you haven't done this. So I was thinking it was either some sort of driver issue or something like that, and so. But it is frustrating when you have nothing to go off of other than, hey, this just happens. And so I started with the complete clean of the computer. Felt good. Got in there with some cleaner, dusted some of it out, sucked it up with a little mini vac, and it's running good now. And so I think that made a huge difference. I think like the CPU was so clogged that it was just overheating and shutting the desktop off, which was not good. Kind of like as soon as I got to the end of that 20-minute video and I knew I lost it, I just sat there, even though we're not supposed to have our hands on our face. I just sat there with my head in my face, like, my goodness, because it's basically it's the same thing as cooking a meal, and you're like, all right, this is a good meal. You know, maybe we didn't win the meal contest, but at least it's a good meal for somebody to eat. And then you drop it on the ground, and that's basically what happened. So, all right, so our opponent's got Hapatra. They got a Soul Stinger on the battlefield, and we're still just looking at a snake. So we don't really want to dredge Golgari Thug at this point. We've got the -3. And I think that sounds pretty good, actually. Let's do this. So let's go for 3 visits because we are looking at 5 different lands. We need 7 different lands. And once we do end up getting Scalding Tarn and Catacombs, we should be able to crack those and get a few more zombies on the battlefield. So that's really going to help us out. So let's go ahead and grab Taiga. Have that enter the battlefield. Let's go for the -3 on Catacombs and Scalding Tarn. And that's going to be 2 more zombies. Oh, yeah, look at that. And then I think at this point, we might want to gamble for some sort of win condition. Yeah, if we're going to have an active Valakut. Yeah, I like this. Let's go ahead and crack Scalding Tarn. Let's do this. Let's go for Seer Sundial. That way we can at least get this down. We're going to pop in 2 more zombies if they do decide to swing in because we can crack the Catacombs and the Scalding Tarn. And that'll give us a few more clue tokens. We could gamble for like a certain win condition if we wanted to. But I think at this point we might be able to grind it out with zombies. So we're going to give that a shot. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, as far as the like power level of this deck, this is pretty much where it wants to be. You know, we're at the spot to where we have Lord Windgrace down. It's not overbearing. We were able to use that -3 to return those 2 lands to the battlefield, which really kind of helped us get ahead on mana on our opponent. Now we're going to be able to stabilize with, hopefully stabilize with Field of the Dead. So, but yeah, as far as cleaning the computer, it's the first time I've ever done that, and I just had a hunch it was. I was like, I opened it up and I was like, yeah, that's pretty dirty. So if you got a computer at home you haven't taken apart and kind of dusted out in a while, do be careful. You don't want to shock it or anything like that. Make sure you're grounded. But you'd be amazed at I feel like my computer's running a lot smoother, and it's kind of like an air filter on a car, basically. You know, if you have a horrible air filter, it's going to be hard for your car to get oxygen, and I think it's the same thing for computers. So, but I could be speaking wrong with that analogy, but at least when I read online, that's what it seemed like. So, our opponent did go for Worldly Tutor. Let's see what they revealed, and then we'll kind of jump into commentary. Okay, that's going to be Skin Render. Enters the battlefield, put 3 -1 counters on target creature. Yeah, we're cool with that. Because if they do decide to swing in, they might miss the interaction with us being able to get a few extra zombies, a Scalding Tarn, and a Catacombs. And I think that sounds pretty good. And if we want to, we do have a little bit of a long shot on setting up a win condition. We do need to find at least Scape Shift or something like that. But if we can crop rotate for Valakut, and then we can gamble for something like Scape Shift, that might end up working out, but we also need to find actually Prismatic Vista first with Gamble. So I think that's what we're going to try to set up for next turn. So let's see what our opponent wants to do this turn, and then we're going to try to at least go for a crop rotation, and then potentially into, nah, we don't need to go for constant miss. So we're probably going to be setting up a crop rotation this turn. Okay, that's going to be Skin Render entering the battlefield. We're going to see the Skin Render eat one of the zombies, so okay, so it's going to wipe out that zombie. They're still going to get a snake token, but we're going to be okay with Catacombs being able to get an extra zombie. We'd actually almost end up with like 3 or 4 zombies this turn, which just goes to show you how nice Field of the Dead is, especially in a Lands Matter deck. It's just, oh, it's one of the best things you can be doing in Magic. And also, as far as Animal Crossing, if you didn't notice, I did release an Animal Crossing Let's Play this past weekend. So if you want to check that out, head on over there. I made an Animal Crossing playlist, and I will be releasing more Animal Crossing content. I just don't know what the daily schedule is going to be like just yet, but I definitely plan to release it as I do kind of work on our island. I think that'll be pretty fun. So, and also enjoy it, man. If you have a Switch and you don't have Animal Crossing, I highly recommend it. It is such a fun game. It's just a fun way to relax. Okay, so let's go and crack Catacombs. Let's go and get another land on the battlefield. That's going to trigger Field of the Dead, and then we can try to end up going for a crop rotation. So let's get this popped out. Let's go ahead and go for Overgrown Tomb. We're going to go and shock that one in. Yes, going to pay 2 life. And this is going to be an extra zombie trigger on the battlefield. This is going to be Seer Sundial. Oh, and excuse me, with Seer Sundial, I was thinking clue tokens. You have to pay 2 as soon as it enters the battlefield. So we're not going to be doing that. Let's go and go crop rotation on Overgrown Tomb. We're going to grab Valakut with this. Now, there's 2 things that we can go for with Gamble. We can go for Prismatic Vista. That's going to turn all of our lands into mountains, but we might lose it to Gamble. Or we can go for Dryad. And if we go for Dryad, even if it does get gambled into the graveyard, we can still bring it back with Golgari Thug. But that's, I think, even anticipating that line of play, I think we still end up gambling for Prismatic Vista. I kind of like those odds just a little bit better. Worst case scenario, let's say our opponent does somehow kind of start pressuring our life total. Even if that doesn't work out, we've still got Exsanguinate, and we can always kind of sack some lands to buy some time. So let's wait for our opponent to let this crop rotation resolve, and then we'll jump back into the game. Okay, so let's get this popped out. Let's go ahead and go for Valakut. There we go. Have that enter the battlefield. This could be another zombie. And it's also fun to be able to run land combos like this, or land synergies, whatever you want to call it, where you can have like the volcano zombies. It's just such a nice feeling. So I'm not going to pay for Seer Sundial. This can be an extra zombie on the battlefield. Oh, yes. That is good. One more. And then let's go ahead and crack Scalding Tarn. And that's going to give us 1 more zombie on the battlefield. We will end up grabbing a mountain off of this just to kind of help us out. Let's go and grab Blood Crypt. Have that come into play tap. Not going to pay 2. And that's going to be an extra zombie. Oh, look at that. 4 zombies on the battlefield. We'll take it. So we're going to end up blocking 2 on... Nope, don't have the mana. Can't pay it. We're going to end up blocking 2 on Soul Stinger. And then 1 on the Snake Token. We got 1... Yeah, because... that puts us at a -3, which might end up working out. So let's go double zombie block on Soul. Let's go for 1 zombie on Snake Token. There we go. All right, so we have 1 zombie left over. And then we'll see what we rip into next turn. But yeah, I really do like gambling for that Prismatic Vista. So there we go. Whenever it dies, put a -1 counter on target creature for each -1 counter. Yeah, if they want to get rid of one of our zombies, go for it. Okay, so definitely don't want to dredge Golgari Thug. No, we're okay. And then Evolution Sage. Okay, so we don't have a land drop to make with that. We can go for the discard a card. We have no land to discard. Yeah, I think at this point we still just go ahead and go for this gamble. So let's go ahead and go for gamble. Ooh, got a 25% chance of this hitting the bin, but we will make this work. So let's get this popped out. Let's go for Prismatic Vista. Gonna have our fingers crossed. Not Prismatic Vista, Prismatic Omen. Let's... Oh... That's a bummer. That stinks. Okay, so we're gonna... We're gonna discard a card. Let's go and get rid of. I guess at this point, because like Sanguinate might end up. Oh man, that hurts. Yeah, because even if we end up going gamble on a Dryad, that's Golgari Thug. We have to wait for them to swing in with Golgari Thug. Put it back on top. I mean, I guess technically maybe that was a safer line of play, but I like to play risky sometime. All right, so we're gonna discard Evolution Sage. I'm not going to dredge Golgari Thug. Oh, the Gitrog monster. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. That'll make up for it. So let's go Gitrog down, and then tap down on Field of the Dead, and then anything else. We're going to go ahead and plus up on Windgrace. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So now one thing that we can do is with Gitrog Monster, whenever a land enters the battlefield, whenever it goes to the graveyard, we get to cash in a card draw. So if we're going to end up going for constant miss, if we want to fog them out for a turn, I think we might end up doing that, because that's going to do 2 things. It's going to allow us to go for the -3 of bringing these lands back onto the battlefield, and also just kind of fog out their turn and really just set up some nice card advantage with Gitrog. And that's what makes this deck so much fun, is there's not really this combo win that we're going for. It's just like, hey, what land matters card do I draw into? So we're trying to go for the Prismatic Omen and Valakut win condition. That didn't happen. We've got Field of the Dead going, and now we're just kind of on this like Gitrog monster just hopped out of the swamp and said, hey, follow me, partner. And you know what? We said, okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, that's going to be Wicker Bowl Elder. So enters the battle for the -1 counter, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Yeah, that's fine. You know, at this point right now, all we have is Seer Sundial, and we're not really have that active right now. So that is a-okay with us. But that will be an extra snake token. But I think we're going to be able to hopefully stabilize with this constant miss. This sounds like a pretty good thing. Worst case scenario, if we are going to try to go for that, we still have Exsanguinate to go for once we get all these lands down. And that'll really kind of help us. Hopefully, let's see. Yeah, that's going to target Seer Sundial. Go for it. But yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to grind it out with some zombies. The only downside is we are playing against Hapatra. And so you just got, in the world of 2/2 zombies, the 1/1 snake death touch token is definitely king. So we just got to dodge that. But we can grind this out with some good Jund value. We'll see what's going to swing in. Okay, and at this point, we've got 2 snake tokens just swinging at us, not even at Lord Windgrace, so we're just going to let that go on through. We could try to trade with a zombie, but I kind of like it this way. So, yeah, we'll definitely take a hit for 2. That's going to put us down to 18, and also kind of buys us an extra turn with a constant miss. You know, we are in a good spot with getting these extra lands down, but, you know, sacrificing to constant miss, it does end up making a difference in the end. So, all right, so let's go and sacrifice. I guess at this point, we'll just go and sacrifice Forest. That's going to be a card draw for the Gitrog monster. Oh, yes. And then we draw into Deathrite Shaman, and then not Golgari Thug, and then we hit Mana. Oh, yes, that is good. All right, so let's go for the -3. Let's return Scalding Tarn and Catacombs. I'm pretty sure we still have options for both of those. All right, so that's going to be a Field of the Dead trigger, and we are sitting at 1, 2, 3. So we're only sitting at 3 mountains at this point right now. So it's going to be an extra zombie. The good thing about Gitrog is, though, we're going to be able to cash in some card draw. So let's go ahead and crack Scalding Tarn. It's going to be the Gitrog trigger, and not going to dredge Golgari Thug. Casualties of War. Okay, that's actually really good. Let's go ahead and grab Badlands. Actually, we'll grab Mountain. That's going to be an extra trigger, and that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this next one's going to be the last mountain. So let's go and crack Catacombs. That's going to be an extra card draw with Gitrog. Draw into Forest. And then let's have that Bloodlands enter the battlefield. There we go. And then now with Valakut, yeah, once we start having, if we can find one of our other pieces, all of our land drops will really work out. Do we want to end up going for Casualties of War? I said it was really good, but it's only going to pop 1 creature at this point right now. No, I think we're going to be okay. So let's go for Deathrite Shaman. Let's go Forest, because at this point, if we end up going Casualties of War, we could potentially go for Hapatra, or at least get rid of that -3. Or if we want to make it a little bit easier for us to go for a good alpha swing, we could pop one of their lands and get rid of Elder. Yeah, I think I kind of like doing that. All right, so let's go destroy target creature. We're going to destroy target land and click OK. Let's go and choose Elder, and then let's go ahead and choose Twilight Mire. Yeah, that'll be good. Not the best Casualties of War, but since we're going to be set up with Gitrog, drawing some lands, drawing some cards, I feel like we can do this. And then anything else, we're going to pass the turn over to our opponent. So at the very least, if they do decide to swing in and kind of stop us, one thing that we can do is let that attack go through, swing in with some zombies, see what can stick as far as our zombies go, and then kind of clean it up with the Sanguinate, because we do have Mana Crypt, which is going to be very nice, because we're looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're looking at Exsanguinate for 10. So we may not be able to close it out next turn, but who knows? Maybe with the Deathrite Shaman, exiling something out of the graveyard, losing some life, that might make a difference. But at least kind of keeping them back on land, so it does stop whatever sort of game plan they've got. But that's one of the downsides to Hapatra is. Hapatra is a lot of fun. You know, if you get a good board state going, you can get some nice tokens going, and it's a lot of fun. But Hapatra is not really made for the late game. Now, there are some combos you can run in Hapatra that allow you to do that. But if you're kind of playing more of an honest Hapatra deck, yeah, there's some times where you get into turn 9 or turn 10, and you're like, oh, kind of running out of gas. And this is exactly where Lord Windgrace wants to be. He's at this 10 spot, or turn 9, turn 10, and really just kind of cashing in a ton of value. So, all right, it's going to be support 2. Whenever you put one or more counters on a creature you don't control, draw a card. So, okay, that's going to be good. And if they want to, they can support 2 other creatures. So if they want to give one of our creatures a token, that would allow us. Yeah, they're actually going to put it on both. Okay. That's going to be a +1 counter on Get Rog and a +1 counter on Death Threat Shaman, so we will definitely take that. Now, if they do decide to swing in, we still might end up going for a constant miss. I know that does cut us back on the land, but at least it makes it to where, with our life total being at 16, be a little bit easier if we're not sitting there in single digits. And our opponent's going to end up going for an Evolutionary Leap. Okay, so they decided to simply just pass the turn. So with them having, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got. So if we ended up swinging Get Rog in, I'm trying to figure out if we actually just want a constant mist and then just to kind of cash in a card draw. Yeah, I think I kind of like that because we might need to find something just to kind of clean up some of those snake. We do have Maelstrom Pulse in here. That's kind of why I'm going for this play. So let's go and cast a Constant Miss with Buyback. It's going to be Field of the Dead. We're going to go and sacrifice, I think we'll just sacrifice this basic Swamp because we're good on black mana. And really what we're kind of doing is basically just kind of cashing in a card draw at this point. And, if we run into Pulse, that really does kind of set the tone as far as what we want to do. And I'm not going to go for Golgari. Oh, then Crux of Fate. Okay, that's going to be a wonderful way for us to definitely hit the reset button and end up going for some extra zombies once we end up getting, if we can get back to that -3 with Lord Windgrace. So let's go and sacrifice some land. Let's go and sacrifice, I guess at this point we'll get rid of Forest. And that's going to be another card draw that we go for. And then we hit Crystal. We hit Crystal Vein. This guy trips me out. He's so excited to be in a cave made out of crystals. So we've got Lord Windgrace. We've got only one land drop for the turn. That's going to be an extra zombie. I guess technically either way, if we just try to get in for a little bit extra, yeah, I kind of like doing this. Let's go for this. I'm just going to push him with the crew. That's going to be a Get Rog Monster. And since we do have a 2/3, we'll still go and push him with Deathrite Shaman. I think that'll be good. All right, so we're going to swing in with the entire crew. Because if they do decide to end up blocking with the snake token on Get Rog, it's not the end of the world. We have sacrificed a couple lands and haven't really been making our land drops. And so we're okay with that trade. And we just really want to start chipping away at our opponent's life total because once we get this Crux of Fate to resolve, we at least got another land coming down. And that's going to allow us to get some more zombies and really kind of keep the pressure up on our opponent. Ooh, okay, so they're going Skin Render on Deathrite Shaman and Snake Token on Get Rog. So we'll be able to get in for 12 damage. It's going to put them down to 18. In fact, let's do this. Let's end up going. So if we end up going Sanguinate, that's going to be a land drop for the turn. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do this. Let's go for the +2. Let's go and discard a card. Let me get rid of Wasteland at this point. And then we're going to be able to draw 2 cards. Temple of Malady. Ooh, and then Ancient Tomb. Okay, this is going to be great. All right, so we go Ancient Tomb for the turn. That's going to be... Oh, dang it. I meant to go for Crux of Fate first. I got ahead of myself. All right, so we end up going Crux of Fate. Yeah, dang it. A little bit of sequencing error, but I was just happy to hit Crystal Vein and Ancient Tomb back-to-back. So we're going to destroy all non-dragon creatures. Yeah, should have waited for that land drop. Sorry about that. Sometimes when I get excited about something, I'm like, oh, cool. It's going to be a really nice Exsanguinate next turn. So there we go. I got the board cleared out, and then we've already activated Lord Windgrace. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Okay, that's going to be Hapatra. That's a full honest price for Hapatra. And then we are sitting at 18. Anything? Yeah, there's nothing else we can do. We're going to go and pass turn. Sorry. But we're supposed to be playing Dungeons and Dragons tonight, and my buddies, our DM was going to be late, so I was like, I'm going to record really quick. And they're like, hey, where are you? I was like, well, I'm in the middle of recording a game. So there we go. So we've got the... Yeah, this is going to be good. So let's go Crystal Vein. Be able to tap out for a really nice Exsanguinate. All right, so let's do this. That's going to be Field of the Dead trigger. Let's go and add 2 mana to our mana pool. Let's go and go for the minus with Lord Windgrace. We're going to go ahead and bring back Crystal Vein. And we'll bring back Scalding Tarn. That's going to be 2 more zombie triggers. We're going to actually sacrifice Crystal Vein again. There we go. Tap down on Ancient Tomb. Let's get Constant Mist out. Not Constant Mist, Mana Crypt out. That's going to be 1/2. The character that I'm playing in Dungeons and Dragons here in a little bit, it's actually Virtus Vex, or Virtus the Veiled. So I'll go into that definitely in another video. I've had fun playing a rogue. I played a druid last time. Oh, bummer. All right, we got to do it. We got to crack Scalding Tarn. There we go. I meant to add all that mana for Exsanguinate. Let's grab our last mountain in the deck. That's going to be Field of the Dead. Finally get the Volcano Zombies. It's going to put our opponent down to 15. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. We've got that 8 mana floating. That's going to be an extra zombie. And then now let's go for this Exsanguinate. So X is going to be 8. Oh, that is going to be perfect. Just enough. There we go. Exsanguinate for 15. That's going to put them down to 0. That's going to put us up plus 15 and close the game out. So there we go. Good game to our opponent. I know there was a little bit of a slow start for our opponent on Hapatra, but thankfully we were able to get some really nice value on the battlefield. Like I mentioned, I had a little bit of a weird recording day because I had to take apart my computer and fix it, but thankfully we were able to get through an entire video without my computer crashing, and that is a very nice feeling. So, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.